Many people who first get started on their manifesting journey will come across a variety of sources, explanations, tutorials, techniques, and methods. When faced with all these different options and an abundance of content to apply, it can be quite overwhelming to know exactly what to do. How many times do I affirm a day? What scene should I use for my visualization? What are SATs and how do I do it perfectly? How do I get rid of my wavering? Do I need to fix my self-concept? Why is my 3D not changing? These are all questions that have been floating around the internet, and we all know the short answer is to persist, but people might wonder what's so effortless in turning a blind eye to the harshest circumstances and putting faith into something you don't have concrete proof of yet. One of the biggest fears or doubts people have during their first stage of learning the law is not knowing how to handle the 3D. A common misunderstanding is that you have to be delusional about your surroundings and completely ignore it. This is extremely difficult to achieve because our logical minds will always be aware of the 3D environment we live in. Being delusional when manifesting an SP might be trying to convince yourself your phone is filled with texts from them when that notification isn't there. It could also be looking at a completely broke bank account and trying to convince yourself that you're rich. Another thing about being delusional is that it implies you are avoiding the 3D or unable to acknowledge it since you fear seeing the circumstances that do not align with your desire. Either because you believe they will hinder your manifestation, or it pulls you away from your ideal 4D. To avoid or to fear something is often confirmation of a belief you hold. When you view the 3D as a problem or something you cannot face, it means you haven't been able to find full conviction in knowing you already are the person who has your desire even though you can't see it yet. If you judge after appearances, you will continue to be enslaved by the evidence of your senses. Neville Goddard. Manifesting is not about being delusional in an attempt to hide from what you see. It is to see the 3D for what it truly is, merely a reflection of your past states of consciousness. Therefore, freeing yourself and making new internal selections for the life you wish to experience. It is where you have been dwelling long enough for it to reflect into your individual reality, since it confirms what you assume to be true for your life, but it is not the objective truth as you perceive it to be. Once you change your perception of yourself and completely discard the old beliefs that tie you to the past and present 3D, your whole world will change. Another trap people might fall into is constantly worrying about whether their old story is too complicated or difficult to fathom being able to change it. The truth is, it does not matter when your SP blocked you, how long you guys haven't seen each other, how you're 1 week away from being homeless, or if your dream life seems light years away. This is because of one simple phrase. Creation is finished. Everything you could possibly desire within reason of our human biology and experience is already promised to us in a different probable reality. There are infinite versions of ourselves and others, and your 3D will move mountains if that is necessary to bring about your desire, but under the condition that you have truly changed yourself first. Do not expect things to change if you have not changed yet. Because creation is finished, what you desire already exists. It is excluded from view because you can see only the contents of your own consciousness. It is the function of an assumption to call back the excluded view and restore full vision. It is not the world but your assumptions that change. An assumption brings the invisible into sight. It is nothing more nor less than seeing with the eye of God. Neville Goddard. Letting go of the past. To be honest, no matter how sympathetic people are towards your story, the anger, frustration, heartbreak, and guilt you feel is only reinforcing how you see yourself and your reality. Holding negative feelings towards someone for what they've done to you is understandable from the 3D perspective, but it does not benefit anyone if you are going to manifest a behavior change from them. If you are still blaming an SP for blocking you, does that sound like someone who feels as though they are already in a beautiful loving relationship with them? Do not waste one moment in regret, for to think feelingly of the mistakes of the past is to reinfect yourself. Let the dead bury the dead. Turn from appearances and assume the feeling that would be yours were you already the one you wish to be. Neville Goddard. Going back to the questions mentioned earlier in this video, it's important to know that the word change is referring to a change in your beliefs and dominant state of awareness. It does not mean an effort-based lifestyle change where you feel pressured to affirm or visualize in an unnatural way against your own will. Changing your state is as simple as making a decision each time you think of your desire throughout the day. You are free to change how you think and feel at any moment. It is not the event itself that holds meaning, but your reaction that implies acceptance. Man, who is free in his choice, acts from conceptions which he freely, though not always wisely, chooses. All conceivable states are awaiting our choice and occupancy, but no amount of rationalizing will itself yield us the state of consciousness which is the only thing worth seeking. Neville Goddard. It does not matter how many times you affirm or which words you say. You can affirm once a day or 100 times a day, but if you haven't changed your beliefs at all, then nothing will happen. Quality over quantity for anything you do. Mental dieting and keeping yourself in check for what thoughts and beliefs you are entertaining has proven to be easier and faster for many people. And the last part to it all. How do I know I've changed? Your reaction to the 3D, how you react towards unlovely circumstances, whether you are impatiently wondering where your desire is and more all make up your current overall state. I do not say this to mislead people into thinking there must be a so-called purge, a limiting belief some modern-day law of assumption coaches teach, where people believe things must get worse before they can get better, or any test you must pass before you receive your desire. I also do not mean that you will have to wait forever for your desire to show up. It does not take over 30 days to manifest most desires, meaning it should not take you over a month's time to change your beliefs about something. If done with discipline, it will often reflect in much shorter time. The how of your manifestation is not up to you to decide, but if you find yourself stressing over these things, then you have not changed. True change is when nothing can cause your knowing and conviction that your desire is yours to waver. You know that it is done. I hope you like this video. Subscribe for more such videos. Thanks for watching.